Good evening. My name is Brightops, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Mechanicus. And, well, I will get into why I've been delayed uploading videos in the near shortly, but for those of you who've joined this video, you can probably see quite clearly what mission we're going to take. Not necessarily because I like Videx or anything, but simply because the chance to get a different troop type is just troop type is just too great to pass up. But anyway, our master's voice. Install a system of voxcasters to transmit prayers throughout the tomb of Agrolethk. Videx believes this will dampen the Xenos taint in the tomb. And on top of the new type of troop in the Skitarii Vanguard, we will also gain a refractor field generator, which is basically a shield that can go up around the person with it, that can also shield allies who are in range. But yes, let us do this. Let's see, bringing both of our tech priests and the servitors, as is tradition. The potential for corruption in the tomb of Agrolethk continues to vex me, Magos. The spreading of the incense was not enough. I fear not, Magos. The malevolence of the Necron is overwhelming. Observation on the Tech Cosmos, verse 68. We are derelict in our duty whenever we allow corruption to plague the minds of good men. Then what do you suggest? Our progress in the tomb makes it possible for us to install a system of voxcasters in the structure. And what would that achieve? The Inguia Technis prayers could be transmitted to the very heart of the Necron's resting place. Our troops would go everywhere bathed in the sacred binary of the Omnissiah. Sayings of the Princeps 65.4. When thou dearest to discourse purely, use binary. A novel concept, Lector Dogmatisk. You can just see that our main guy here is just... He's just sort of indecisive of if he should be calling this guy out on his shit or not. I have considered your plan, Videx, and a cohort has been deployed to the area. I have personally selected the prayers of purification and translated them into broad-spectrum binary. Once the voxcasters are active, the tomb will ring to the Omnissiah's word. I have the voxcaster locations plotted, Magos. I am still uncertain if this is worth the risk to our people. One in possession of unaugmented emotional centers cannot appreciate the benefit of this operation. Galathmorans 45.7. Above bullets, above blades, care for your soul above all. Your concerns are noted, Kepra, but you have your orders. Yes, Magos. His will be done. Okay. Well, this isn't a big place, actually. And I guess we'll start by going here, because either way we're going to be dealing with a ruin. Alright, or a glyph. Let's see. This panel controls a heavy door leading to the treasure room, which is filled with cognition. If we can work out the right commands, we can read the rewards within. Okay. Now, apparently, there is actually a full translation of these glyphs that can very much do different things. And I think... It's been a little while since I've done this, so we'll try this one? No. No, it did not work out. That is not the one we wanted to use. Noted. And unfortunately, Explorator Serious Armor paid the price for that. Okay. One of the Voxcasters being transported by the cohort begins emitting strains of music from an unknown source. The music sounds like it is of human origin, but it could interfere with the binary transmissions. Let's see, we could send basically shame the entire Skitarii force, because one of them's playing music, assuming one of them's playing music, and just, no, you're a military force, you shouldn't be doing this. We could find the source of the music through examining the local spear, or we can translate a stream of counter data to cancel it out. Honestly, let's find out where this is coming from. I shall chastise the offender in person. Maximus Metallica 76.12. From such small heredities are great apostasies made. The music proves to stem from a non-standard cranial augment in one of the Skitarii soldiers, which he has altered to play the music. And Necron initiative has been decreased. Meh. Alrighty, let's go visit the first quest location. This will be the first mission where we've had multiple quest locations to actually go to, which will become more of a thing in the future. But... what is this vile mix of flesh and machine? Is this a form of Necron in its infant state? What has Scivola got to say? See, uncertainty statement loaded. Unsure of life form progression path. Diagnosing possible outcomes. Signs of degradation, deformed segmentation, and psychological deformities. Possible solutions. ++ infant, ++ disease, ++ parasitic life form that represents form of ripped flesh. Should I continue? That's enough, Scivola. I believe we are not the ones to diagnose Necron health, but instead be their executioners. I am mostly concerned for my troops' morale. There have been reports of Skitarii disappearing in these tombs, and I believe I now know why. Skitarii lives are not as important as Arctech or STC fragments / mission. How supportive of you, Redis. And so we finally encounter the... So we finally encounter a... let's see what? Ah yes, a flayed one. Basically, for those curious, flayed ones are... Well, they're Necrons. They are Necrons. It's just, in their particular case, they are Necrons that have been infected by a virus. See, this is a bit of a lore breakdown for the Necrons, but in the case, back during near the beginning, or at least back when they were well, okay, it's kind of hard to go back to the beginning with Necrons because it goes for a fair distance. There is a lot of history to them. But a lot of what they are comes down to godlike entities called the Catan. They are... think like Lovecraftian elder god. And you get an idea of what the Catan are. But... yes, they are somewhat unique in that... they're somewhat unique in that they're... well, sorry. Slightly confused as to how to explain the Catan. It is a complicated subject. But the short version of things are that Necrons were not originally these robotic creatures. They were... initially, they were a living... they were organic, but... they were organic, but due to various things that happened, they ended up making a deal with the Catan in order to effectively gain new bodies to be free of their poor health, because they had incredibly short, brutal lives. But when they uploaded their souls to their new mechanical bodies, the Catan pretty much enslaved them. And they were kind of pissed off by this development. Which, fair enough, makes perfect sense. Even if they were, for the most part, mindless to begin with. There was, eventually, the Catan... eventually, the Necrons betrayed the Catan. Or at least, for the most part, they did. It varies from... exactly to what extent, it varies from varies from tomb world to tomb world, because some are still loyal, others are not. It is somewhat difficult to know for certain where they lie on the spectrum. But in the case of when they betrayed their gods, when the Necrons betrayed the Catan, very few of them survived. Very few of them ultimately survived. One of the Catan gods, however, survived long enough to... while he was ultimately destroyed, he, as a final curse to them, basically created the Flare virus. Which, when a Necron is infected with this virus, it's more or less they go kind of mad, to put it bluntly. They seek to claim their lost flesh. And, well, they plan to do this usually by ripping it out of, well, someone else's. They're actually kind of nuts. Even other Necrons, to put it bluntly, kind of fearful of flayed ones, because their virus can be transmitted. Though they'll kind of... It's very much a case of, with the flayed ones, that Necrons will sort of put up with flayed ones if they teleport in and then leave, like immediately afterwards, after the whole battle is done with. They don't like it when people when they stay. But oh yes, back to the initial point I was going to make. Why I've been gone for a while. Well, I would like to say that it was for something major and important, but the truth of the matter is it honestly has everything to do with the fact that some of my family came down to visit and they spent a few days down here. They wanted to spend time with me. So I spent time with them. And after that, it was just a case of it was kind of hard to get back into the habit of recording. Oh no, one of the servitors died. How awful. And now and as I've said, this is the benefits of having that little prod that does 1 point of damage. Effectively, you can just use it to finish off a downed opponent without having to spend anything. And of course, we also have the little prod that also does healing, which is always nice, if a bit weird. Okay, kind of need to collect another point, simply to some Mechanicus with a giant axe. And now we've moved into range where we can shoot. Wonderful. But yes, very much the reason I haven't uploaded the last few days is a mixture of spending time with family and, yeah, getting back into the habit of recording. Sayings of the Arch-Magi, Appendix 4. Such sweet music is the chatter of binary that has no tongue to lie. Ensure this volume is significant, Magos. The first Voxcaster unit is in place. It immediately begins transmitting the complex binary of Legia Technis. Gain some Blackstone as well. Let's see. We could basically just select what level we want this to be blaring at. I don't want to go at the max level simply because I'm sure that there's probably a reason. There's probably some reason you don't want to do that. Don't want to leave it the same, but I might just increase the volume a bit. The Voxcaster's volume increases, shaking the structure around the cohort. The enemy cannot help but be aware of it, but the tech priests are emboldened by the trade of sacred binary. So we've increased their awakening by 2, but we've also decreased their initiative a bit. Now let's see, do I want to... Yeah, we do. We'll go and see the rest of the stuff in this tomb. Oh, foul. Could this be a place of Xenos worship? We have no data on their religious practices, but I retrieve Vario Dictatus 53.12. Not all data should be required. The chamber contains a large slab of metal that resembles an altar, with the images of glowering, skull-like Necron faces inscribed in the wall. We could defile the altar, which is ritually defile the altar with rancid machine oil and the scattering of burned-out fuses. We could destroy it with demolition charges. Or we could seal off the chamber and find another way around. Let's see... Honestly, let's blow this sucker up. Minstra Elementius consulted. Non-standard material detected. Properties logged for the later study. The super-dense alloy of the altar resists the demolition charges that the cohort attempts to use. The troops are disheartened by the indestructible nature of the Necron altar. Ah, well, we lost a cognition point, but that's fine. We tried. Necrons animate 1 turn faster. The cohort's communications pick up a transmission played in a binary adjacent Xenos language that can be interpreted as a distress signal. It is originating from the next chamber and is transmuted only in the very local area. Let's see, we could attempt to answer the transmission, we could enter the chamber to find the source, or we could observe. Binary adjacent Xenos language. I'm saying we're going to observe this, simply because this deep in a Necron tomb, this can't be good. The transmission is a looping distress signal that peters out into static before restarting. It sounds like the final words from a dying ship. The uncertainty of its origin, or the reason it is being played in the tomb, is far more disconcerting than knowing the truth. Oh, boo-hoo. Yeah. Let's get this over with. The Necron tomb is trying to defend itself. Clearly our mission is working. Ephraim's 94.13. The enemy rushes to action when our ministrations cause him fear. A swarm of tiny scarab-like constructs emerges from appendages in the wall and begins scurrying all over the Voxcaster, chewing through its casing with its steel mandibles. Let's see if we can protect the Voxcaster, clear away the scarabs, or purge them with... Yeah, protect the caster. By the time the Voxcaster is retrieved, it is beyond repair. Its components can be salvaged, but the mission is set back. So they awaken a bit more, we gain a bit more Blackstone. Doesn't really matter. The final Voxcaster is installed. The binary prayers flow through the tomb, filling both real space and the local narrow space with the words of workshop exalting the Omnissiah and the Creed of Mars. The unholy lair of the alien now rings to the words of the Omnissiah. epigrams of the Saint Elichilles 3.89. Protect the shield of the mind, and the body will be shielded thereby. The Necron can strike at our minds as well as our bodies, and we must protect both. In this, Lector Dogmatis, I agree with you. I hope we are of the same mind in other matters too, Magos. Our exploration of Selva Tenebris should be executed with the view to the destruction of all traces of the alien. I have not yet decided if we should commit to such extremes, Videx. I feel multiple emotional prerogatives as well as logical analyses, all competing for primacy in my neurovolts. Our mission here may not be as simple as you think. Just be ready to make the right choice when the time comes, Magos. Recall the words of Fabricator General Plutonius. The eyes of the Omnissiah are ever upon us. So, mission complete. And because we are able to heal in the field, we don't have to spend any stone on repairing our tech priests. And the servitors don't cost shit. Hurrah! See, we've gained more wordstone. We've gained a new type of troop as well. Very nice. And we gain a new one of these because we haven't been using them. Wonderful. Oh, a second one because we performed 50 physical attacks. Let's see, chance of the Remorseless Fist. The next attack will break 2 physical armor. The fire of the forge, the flame of the crucible, the fury of the atom be yours. And because we've slain 12 Necrons, another one. Litany of the Electromancer. The next 2 attacks will ignore all armor. Let our knowledge be as a lantern in the dark, and our enemies shall burn in its light. Collect 25 cognition points. Blessings of the Omnissiah, we basically just gain 3 CPs. Lights of knowledge shine down on those that are faithful. Let those that are not feel the wrath of our intellect. Okay. So firstly, we're going to just show off our new... Oh. We can't actually zoom in on them just yet, but we do have our Skitari Vanguard. The level 1. They have 8 health, and they do a single... They have a single target ranged attack, which does 4 to 6 physical damage to the target. So he's got, by default they have more health, and they do a fair bit more damage than the servitors do. Though they don't have the benefit of if they get shot or hits, they give you a point. But anyway, let's just do some upgrades. Starting with Explorer to Serious Armor. Let's see, Machine Spirit attacks deal an extra 2 damage. Sure, why not? That is good. No, that's the arc rifle. Well, for the time... Actually, no. Change that. What have we got that will be useful? You know what? That might work. We're gonna give him the refractor field generator. Basically just gives him the option of, in the field, creating a shield around himself. And his ally, and those near him. As for Dominus Conrad, we cannot actually afford to give him his next upgrade because we are 8 Blackstone short. Disappointing. However, we have a new mission giver, and that's Kepra is now offering us some missed jobs. And let's have a look-see. Consolidation. Subdoma Kepris has requested aid in taking the pressure off her Skitari troops. Collapsing key areas of the tomb of Ekropus will hinder enemy movement and stop them from overwhelming the Skitari. Let's see if we can support her in creating a defensive position. And in return, we will get a Skitari Ranger, 90 Blackstone, and an additional Tech Priest. That is a damn good reward. That's some damn good rewards. We also have Grave Goods from Skavola. Again, which is the same thing as before. Let's see, Videx from the Mouth of Malediction. A counter-transmission has flooded the tomb of Agroth with Necron data. Lector Dogmatus Videx has requested the source of this transmission be located and destroyed. And in return for doing so, we will get a pretty good amount of Blackstone, a power field generator, which causes all physical attacks to gain +2 for 1 round, and a macro stubber, which is a ranged weapon that a single target ranged weapon that deals 2 to 4 physical damage. Not bad. It's basically the equivalent of the pistol we've currently got, but instead of energy bullets, it fires a physical shell. But that can wait for for next time. Until then, my name is Bright Ops, and I look forward to hearing from you.